So we're just staying up here, right? It's my count anyway. But is anyone actually ringing the bell? Because the minister's not leaving. Is the worship associate ringing the bell? Is that Joedy over there?
Good morning. Good morning. Buenos dias. And welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. Our weekly worship is where we connect, share information and inspiration. My name is Joedy Yglesias. I left the United States in 1999 as a Roman Catholic, and went to serve overseas for several years. And my time overseas broadened my world perspective. And when I returned to the United States in 2005, the Catholic Church really wasn't everything that I needed spiritually. And as an 18-year-old, I had the good fortune of reconnecting with some Lakota elders who reignited my desire to connect with my indigenous ancestry. In 2005, when I returned to the United States, I had the really good fortune of moving to a neighborhood in Norfolk called Ghent, where there was a Unitarian church, and I began attending services there because it really felt like it spoke to my spirit and everything that my spirit was longing for, to be part of a community that had shared values. I moved to San Antonio in 2008 and began coming here sporadically, but between deployments and after my retirement, I served as a park ranger in Big Bend. I really didn't have the time to come every Sunday. But last November, my ancestors told me it was time to become a full-time member. So I started that in November and was ceremoniously accepted into the congregation this January, on my birthday, January 12th. And I'm so happy to be here. Our faith is an all-inclusive, and all means all. We strive to enact a universal love that binds us all in mutual care and affection, especially in our work for justice for our planet and all of its people. We will have our guests provide the land acknowledgement that we usually do at this moment. We invite those who are visiting us to rise so that we can see and greet you. Welcome, 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 welcome. If you're interested in becoming a member of this community, please ask any member or staff. Any of us can help you join the community. We have a membership book that you can sign, and we also ask you to make an annual contribution to help fund the ministry. If you are new to us or visiting us for the first time today, we welcome you. We'll welcome you to fill out a yellow visitor's card. We'd like to get to know you and follow up with you. Wherever you are on your life's journey, we hope you will find your place with us. In case you're wondering, we have roped off the last 2 pews for anyone who needs to seat quickly. Thank you. Now I invite you to greet your neighbors and extend a warm welcome to one another. Our guest speaker today is Ramon J. Vasquez, the Executive Director of the American Indians of Texas in the Spanish Colonial Missions, a 501c3 nonprofit that serves the indigenous population of Central and South Texas. He was born in San Antonio and is an enrolled member of the Tap Pilam Coahuiltecan Nation. In this capacity, Ramon has spent the last 25 years working on community mobilization in the areas of domestic violence, promoting positive images of fatherhood, and confronting male stereotypes and falsehood. Ramon has served as the mayor's appointed chairman for the Violence Prevention and Recidivism Reduction Committee for San Antonio's My Brother's Keeper, as well as the mayor's task force on police and community relations. He has developed community, academic partnerships, primarily focusing on reversing extinction of the American Indian descendants of the Spanish missions of northeastern Mexico and South Texas. In 2003, Ramon co-founded the United Urban Indian Family Coalition, now headquartered in Seattle, Washington. He also is a co-founder and vice president of the Land Heritage Institute Foundation in Bexar County. Since 2014, Ramon has served as the mayor's appointee for the City of San Antonio Alamo Citizens Advisory Committee, and more recently was appointed to the State of Texas Alamo Museum Planning Committee. The San Antonio Peace Center named him Peace Laureate for 2024.
Thank you. I'm going to do a land acknowledgement that we have on our website, and it's something that we've thought through a lot. And so it's a little bit long, but just bear with me. We acknowledge this place known to us as Yanawana as the traditional homeland of many Native American people who are called Coahuiltecan by Spanish records. 200 tribes, bands, and clans are documented in historical records and include the Payaya, Paguame, Jarame, Pampoa, and the Borados, as well as many other Aboriginal peoples, such as the Estuknak, Carrizo Come Crudo, who continue to carry their traditional life ways. We acknowledge these various indigenous communities as the traditional people of this land now called San Antonio, Texas. We acknowledge this homeland that would later include Comanches and Lipan Apaches in the 1600s as a place that is now home to nearly 60,000 urban Indians spanning from tribes across the North, Central, and South America who continue to sustain their traditional languages and customs. We acknowledge that the 6 flags which have flown over the city during the last 300 years have never fully honored indigenous people who continue to be excluded from processes that directly affect their cultural traditions, ancestors, and future descendants. We acknowledge the willingness of our communities to seek healing for all of the harms of colonialization which are still present in San Antonio, reflected in the unequal distribution of resources, housing, education, and access to health care. We acknowledge the opportunity to promote equity by centering the needs of Native peoples in decisions regarding public policy, service delivery, and distribution of resources in a manner that accounts for historical realities. We acknowledge the resiliency, tenacity, and ability of Native Americans to survive, heal, and thrive despite the systemic oppression they have faced, and commit to celebrating their successes. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit and sing our opening hymn, accompanied by the hymn band. Number 15, The Lone Wild Bird. In this church we know and are known. We see and are seen. We're no longer alone, for we share in a dream. In this space we hear and are heard. We can open our hearts, for when we love and are loved, we can discover who we are. We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build a loving community where all are welcome as blessings. Let's recite our covenant that articulates our promises and binds us together. Please read together. Love is the doctrine of this church, but for us the truth is our sacrament, and service is prayer. Our anthem today will be performed by people of the Tap Pilam Coahuiltecan Nation and citizens of the Payara clan, Dora Menchaca, Mike Menchaca, and Eric Rose. That was amazing. We come here today with many things on our minds, joys and sorrows, milestones and responsibilities, anxiety about unpredictable changes in our country. I invite you to come forward, focusing on what is in your heart today, and participate in our stone ceremony. Choose a pebble, spend a moment thinking on what is in your heart at this moment, and drop it in the bowl. Notice the ripples it makes, and remember that our every action ripples out to those around us, for we are not alone. Nice music. Thank you. Today's flowers have been donated by Valerie Lopez in celebration of Lucia Lopez's 17th birthday. And David writes, I got into the doctorate program. Wish me well in this transition. He says, I appreciate you all. And since I can't quite read the last name, could David hold up his hand so we can? Congratulations. Darcy Walker will drive a carpool to some action after the service. Contact her for a ride. Darcy, there she is. And the last entry, I will never forget Colin Powell as Secretary of State, nor any others who have been disappeared. It's time for story wisdom. For all our joys, sorrows, and concerns, may we feel empathy and compassion. May the caring of our community offer a space of deep kindness, loving and just action. Is it stewardship? Okay, I'm inviting Terry Palin to come. Did you see him do that, or did he? Nobody warned me. Okay, here's Terry Palin.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be brief because I'm not speaking yet, but there is, I will in a minute, so get your hearing aids ready to turn off. We have a video that was unplanned, but we're going to have, well, it was kind of planned, but so it's a stewardship video, and it will show us how the gifts that we give out of our love will go ahead and multiply tenfold to be wonderful for this church. So I invite you to look at the screens, or you people at home, watch your screens, and we'll see this wonderful video together. And then I'll be back.
And now we get to see each other every week and drink coffee and talk about our kids. And so just having that connection every week, it's how I want to spend my time on a Sunday. It's where I want to be. It's who I want to be with. And I'm so thankful. Thank you.
Why are you proud of our church?
We accept everybody. We accept everybody. Everyone is welcome here. We accept everybody.
I have a gay son, and I truly believe that during his teenage years, this church saved his life because he found no acceptance in this world except here.
And my son Dante came out as transgender in 2014. And the love and support, I'm going to get teary, that we felt from this church was just phenomenal. Not surprising, but it really made a world of difference for us and for him to feel like his most authentic self. He always says that U-Bar-U is like his second home. This church is like a second home for him, and he just absolutely thrived being here and really knows that he can be who he is without reservation, and this church was a lifesaver for us.
What is your favorite thing about our church?
We have our friends with support. We have our friends with support. We love our friends very much. We have our friends with support.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm not alone.
and have people. So this is a place where I can be me.
The reason why we stay is because we love the community. We love the work that's being done in the community. And it's a wonderful, wholesome vibe that we love.
And the music was amazing, and the work that the church is doing is fantastic. And so I just couldn't wait to come back and hear the choir again and be involved in something that is impacting not just the people that are here, but the community in San Antonio. The people here sing well and they live their faith.
It's a place that I feel safe. It's a place that I feel challenged. And I love this place.
What makes our church special?
The power of our church is on. The power of our church is on. First to you is a gift from above. The power of our church is on.
This community saves lives. It gives hope, connection, and love. Please consider increasing last year's pledge by 10% so we can fully fund our mission. If you haven't pledged yet or have never pledged, now is the time. Every pledge matters, no matter the size. Together, we fund the love, care, and justice that make a difference in so many lives. Give what you can, but no matter what, you belong here.
Well, that was better than anything I can say, but we'll do it anyway. And with all the kids that you saw up there, this is why we're here, for the kids, to continue the programs in RE, to continue the programs of this church. But I still have to say this. In case you don't know, my name is Terry Palin, and I've been a member here since 2011, along with my family. This church has such a vast and welcoming umbrella, doesn't it? What other faith community embraces individuals as they wish to be identified? We have at this church atheists, agnostics, Buddhists, Christians, those of earth-centered beliefs, Hindus, humanists, Jews, Muslims, and pagans, and many other faiths, along with those who identify as cisgender, gay, lesbian, and transgender. All of us here together. But why? What makes this diverse group of people and this faith so successful? Community. The answer lies in community. Community is what brings us back to church, maybe not every Sunday, but often enough that we feel connected. For those of you who are relatively new to this church, you might not yet feel that sense of community. I suggest that this could be because you haven't gotten involved with us yet. But that's something you can easily change. When my family first came to First UU back in 2010, we were searching for a place that would accept us as a family. 2 gay men and mixed-race 6-year-old daughter. We quickly realized that this church was a great fit for us. The religious education, or RE program, allowed our daughter to fit in perfectly. It helped her through RE classes and OWL, Our Whole Lives, and if you don't know about that, see me, I'll talk about that for hours on that, to become an excellent young woman today. My husband and I attended the parents' classes led by Mike Brand at the time, and I truly understand the closeness and bonding that happens in those parents' groups, because we felt it too. Because of this connection and activities we participated in, such as fund lunches, MLK marches, church parties, and summer camps here and at U-Bar-U, we decided to join this congregation in 2011. Shortly after that, I was asked to serve on the Board of Trustees. Over the years, I've been involved with the board, including a term as your president, I've been involved with the trust fund for the endowment, the worship committee. I've taught adult OWL classes with Mary Wright, and participated in the stewardship committee and contributed my energies to campus cleanups and Bashira Bash events. When you get involved in this church because you want it to thrive, that sense of community grows within you, and you genuinely feel it. This brings me to the real message today, stewardship, and how you, yes, all of you and you at home, can contribute. Stewardship is our way of giving back to the church. You've heard the request to offer your time, talent, and treasure. All of these are important. If you cannot give financially, you can still offer your time and talents, which can keep the church alive. For example, are you good at gardening? Are you handy with tools? Do you like planning parties? Are you a skilled organizer with an eye for aesthetics? We would greatly appreciate those talents. Do you have a couple of hours to help writing letters to voters in other states? Can you help set up and move chairs and tables for church events? Any time you can contribute is valued. Now let's discuss the financial expert, the treasure. This is often the part that people hesitate to address. It hurts sometimes. The idea of stewardship suggesting a 10% tithe can be intimidating. Even the UU version of a tithe at 5% can be a significant contribution for some families, depending on your family's dynamics and finances. But please remember that these are only suggestions. Anything is welcome. Randy and I give what I can. Randy's my husband. And we try to increase our contribution slightly each year, knowing that the church expenses rise annually. It truly requires a thoughtful examination of your family's budget to determine what you feel comfortable giving, whether it's be weekly, monthly, or one-time annual sum. Pledging is the act of committing to a specific cash amount for the church for the year. While it's not a contract, it is a commitment that the church can rely on to cover its bills, plan programs, and make necessary repairs. And we do have an old campus. Automatically paying your pledge each month can help you manage your finances while also aiding the church in planning its budget. Those automatic payments need to be renewed each year, please. If you have already pledged this year, thank you, thank you, thank you. Both the church and your fellow community members truly appreciate your support. If you haven't yet pledged or are considering increasing your pledge by a bit, please make your decision soon. The campaign ends on the 31st. If you are we take it after that, but if you are relatively new to First UU, I encourage you to think about joining our community by pledging to the church. Your pledge, along with those of others, will allow us to move forward together. I have much to be grateful for in my life, and one of those things is a sense of community that I've found here at First UU San Antonio. Thank you to you all for being here, for contributing of your time and talent, and blessed be.
Ouch. There. Can you hear me now? You heard me pull off the tape. Sorry? No, I don't sleep with that thing on. That would be uncomfortable. Good question.
So do you have to deal with the pain every
No.
Then it's not big fish.
No. So long before Europeans, which are mainly kind of white people, came to North America, the First Nations lived all over North and South America. And in fact, I'm going to tell you a story today by a lady named Bernelda Wheeler, who is a Cree Saulteaux writer from Northern Canada. And I'm going to tell you this story because it's an old book that was my mother's. And my mother taught on a reservation called the Matthias Colomb Cree Nation in a community called Puckatawagan for about 10 years. And I lived there for 1 year. So that community, guys, thank you. So that community is a long way north. Does anybody want to guess how far north it is from here?
To the North Pole.
Not quite to the North Pole. Go ahead.
Canada is in the Arctic Circle.
Little south of the Arctic Circle, but it is 2,000 miles north of San Antonio. So it's pretty far north. Not quite to the Arctic Circle, though, Zoe. And Bernelda Wheeler, the woman who wrote this story, was one of the first indigenous broadcasters for the CBC radio in Canada, and she used to host a program called Our Native Land. And the story is called, I Can't Have Bannock, but the Beaver Has a Dam. Now, is there a word in there that you guys haven't heard before? Bannock. Does anybody know what bannock might be? No, it doesn't mean band. Anybody have a guess what bannock is? No? It is something you eat, so you're getting closer. Bannock is a type of fry bread. So it's kind of a staple up in a lot of reservations and native communities in Canada. And in fact, when I was up there when I was 13, when I'd go to my friends' houses, they'd always offer bannock and black tea. That was what your snack was. So you'd have bannock and black tea. And a lot of different cultures in the world have things like bannock. So if you think of tortillas down here, that's kind of like bannock. Or chapatis in Indian culture are kind of like bannock. And a lot of Native American cultures make something called fry bread, which is basically the same thing as bannock. It's unleavened bread. So that is all you need to know about the story before I read it. So we are going to read this story, and I want you to think about how everything in your life is connected. That's what the story's all about. So I can't have bannock, but the beaver has a dam. Mom, can I have some bannock? I can't make bannock. Why not? The oven won't get hot, so I can't make bannock. Why won't the oven get hot? Because the electricity is off. Without electricity, the oven won't get hot, so I can't make bannock. Why is the electricity off? Because the power lines are down. Without the power lines, the electricity is off. Without the electricity, the oven won't get hot, and I can't make bannock. Why did the power lines fall down? A big tree fell and knocked the power lines down. Without the power lines, the electricity is off. Without the electricity, the oven won't get hot, and I can't make bannock. Why did the big tree fall? A beaver chewed the tree, and the big tree fell and knocked the power lines down. Without the power lines, the electricity is off. Without the electricity, the oven won't get hot, and I can't make bannock.
I think it's gonna turn into too much questions.
You think? Why did the beaver chew the tree? What do beavers? But what do beavers do when they chew the tree?
They make a dam.
They make a dam, right. The beaver needed the tree to make a dam, so the beaver chewed the tree. The big tree fell and knocked the power lines down. Without the power lines, the electricity is off. Without the electricity, the oven won't get hot, and I can't make bannock.
I bet her voice is starting to get tired.
Where's Dad? Dad's gone to put the power lines back up. Without the power, when the power lines are up, the electricity can go on, and when the electricity can go on, the oven can get hot, and when the oven can get hot, I can make bannock, and the beaver still has a dam. After all that happens, can I have some bannock? Yes, you may. And there's the beaver reading the book. So if you folks want to go back to the playground, and we will sing you out.
Good day to all of you. Thank you for the invitation to come and share our story. As many of you know, the San Antonio is a World Heritage Site because of our 5 missions. Many of you have probably visited our 5 missions. But prior to 40 years ago, they were just beautiful relics of the past, with a history that was forgotten, deliberately erased, and a victim of cultural genocide. That was put forth by a theory that the inhabitants had all been culturally and biologically extinct. So when the Spanish first arrived in San Antonio, in this area, they found it with life, abundance of life. And to justify its claim, it needed citizens, and so the best and fastest way to do that was to do the missionization system, to employ the missionization system here, and that was to create citizens for Spain. And of course, the only way to do that with the people here was to make gente de razón, people with a purpose, because we were barbarians. We were a people without customs and laws, roaming aimlessly through the frontera, looking for food, eating deer dung and toads and everything that we can find. And so they established the missions and began to teach us a new way of life. What they forgot, or what they didn't understand, was that we had laws and we had customs. And I think what we're starting to find out today is that the sophistication of the people and the life and the customs that they were practicing were just too sophisticated for the Spanish to understand. It wasn't the typical civilization that they had come to know or to create, the farms, the growing of crops. In fact, our people were practicing population control in the 1500s, 1600s. Our women were in charge of their reproductive health and made decisions for the community in regards to birthing practices, when, where. Our people were migratory people, and we were cultivating land, food sources. But unfortunately, we found out, we learned all this too many centuries later. In San Antonio had a 10,000-year history of being occupied by what we know today as Coahuiltecan. Coahuiltecan is a Spanish word that was applied to the people here because we were linked linguistically together. Most of the people that were here spoke a dialect of a language called what they referred to as Coahuiltecan, which is an isolate, which means that there is no other, it's not attached to any other family stock in the area. Which means that our people are very old and very ancient. And our practices are very sophisticated in ways that people have no understanding. Our numerical system is being told, we're being told that our numerical system now is one of the most sophisticated numerical systems there is. So I think that the Spanish had it wrong when they first got here. Going back to the 5 missions of San Antonio, you won't find that many missions, the concentration of missions, anywhere else in the Southwest. The missions are 3.5 miles apart from each other in San Antonio. And that means that there was a lot of people here. And each one of our missions were built for specific tribes. For example, Mission San Antonio de Valero was built for the Jarame, the Payaya, Papanak. Mission San Jose was built for the Pastilla, Tilihay, and Papoa nations, and so forth. So there was quite a few people here, different bands and clans of families that had relations throughout northeastern Mexico. Our people lived they lived with each other in Nuevo León, Tamaulipas, Coahuila, and South Texas. And yet, in 1920s, scholars deemed our history insignificant and perpetuated a myth under the scholarship of a theory called biological and cultural extinction. Basically, taking our existence, our physical existence, and our contributions to the Spanish and comparing it to animals and plants which go extinct. Every other human gets to evolve, except for ours. We went extinct. And that myth, that lie, was perpetuated by academia up until the 1980s. So you can imagine how many historians, how many archaeologists, anthropologists, teachers were got this information and continue to perpetuate these myths about our people. So in 1967, while many of our men were in Vietnam, back home, the Catholic Church gave permission to the state of Texas to dig up our grave sites at our missions, specifically at Mission San Juan. Now, I don't think anybody in this room has ever woke up in the morning wondering if they're going to have to rebury their dead grandmothers and grandfathers. I don't think anybody in this room lives under the threat of having to prove who you are constantly, and the threat of your dead being dug up for the sake of science. But we do. And in 1967, they dug up our grave sites. These missions were Catholic churches. These people that were buried in these cemeteries were Catholics. They were the first Catholics of San Antonio. They had been given all their rights, all the sacraments, to be buried in those cemeteries. And yet the Catholic Church deemed it okay to allow them to be dug up. So when our men came home from Vietnam in the 60s, they heard about what happened. And for 30 years, families fought to try to find out where these remains went. We're not talking about ancient remains that were found on a hill someplace, a remote part of Texas. They were found inside a Catholic cemetery that was dedicated and christened as a cemetery by the Catholic Church. And as a matter of fact, all of our missions today, they all have cemeteries. None of our remains have been taken out. None of these cemeteries have ever been desanctified. In front of the Alamo today, there are 1,000 people buried in front of the doors, inside the church, along the walls. And they have nothing to do with the Battle of 1836. In front of San Jose, in front of Mission San Juan, Espada, Concepcion, all the remains of the people that built those walls are still buried there. The last burials took place probably around 1920s, 1868, between 1868, there were some up to 1920s in oral histories. So it wasn't that long ago. So 1980s, we began to visit with the churches, with the archdiocese. And they didn't understand what we were talking about. Too much time had passed. They didn't know anything about the remains. At least that's what they told us. So our members then had to produce the actual contract by Bishop Lucy and present it to the new bishop, Patrick Flores, to demonstrate that the church did do this for $3,000. And so at that time, so between 1988 and 1994, we were going back and forth, or my father, my uncles, were going back and forth with the Catholic Church. Archbishop Flores said, well, if there's one entity that can speak for the families, then we would like to work with that entity, but until then, we'll continue to work with individual families. So that's when they formed the American Indians in Texas at the Spanish Colonial Missions. People today say, wow, your name is really long. Yeah, it is, but it's really not a name. It's a statement. It's a statement that had to be made in the 90s to remind people that there were American Indians that were living in these missions, that built these missions, that created the opportunity for Spanish settlers to arrive and establish a foundation for Canary Islanders to come and occupy the city and create the civil government. It was our people that laid those foundations, that negotiated all the truths with all the other natives in the area. It was our people that provided that opportunity for San Antonio to be what it is today, one of the greatest cities in this country. But our history we have to continue to remind people that our history, that our existence and our contributions to this city started 30 years before George Washington was born. And it wasn't for the efforts of our people that came out of these missions that drove 10,000 heads of cattle to Louisiana so that George Washington's men could eat, because they were going to starve. And it was the first cattle drive that came out of Texas. And yet you don't hear about it in our history books. You hear about the Chisholm Trail. So it is those kinds of myths and deletions of history that continue to perpetuate that cultural genocide that you hear me speak sometimes when I'm in public. Because to erase a people's history from a physical location is cultural genocide. And this is 2025, and we are still having to fight for our existence and our rights. Our cemeteries are still being dug up. In 1999, the Catholic Church finally returned 150 human remains that were excavated from San Juan to us. We occupied the mission in 1999 for a month. We reburied those human remains thinking that that was the end of that and that we could continue with our lives. But it wasn't. Shortly after that, 2012, they uncovered another 15 children. We had to have another reburial in 2013. In 2017, I get a call. I have to go to California because they have 26 human remains from Mission San Juan that were found in a closet. I had to go bring them home. In 2023, we had another reburial at Mission San Juan because there was 11 human remains found at the Texas Archaeological Research Laboratory in Austin that were dug up in 1939. In 2024, we have a reburial because we have 30 remains from the Whitty Museums that had to be returned to us. We have another 2 scheduled for the next couple of years. So it's for us, when people say, well, the history of American Indians was such a long time ago, maybe we can just forgive us and we're sorry. But the reality is that this continues for us. Our history, the impact that on us is recent. It's not 30, 40, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. It's continuous. Executive orders were just signed to reverse tribal self-determination in 2025. So I think I want to leave you with that. That's who we are. That's our history. We're right here in San Antonio. We now have the American Indians in Texas. We're 30 years old this year. We have an office. We have a compound near downtown, a campus near downtown. We have 5 offices. We have the national headquarters we have a national office for the Native American Church of North America at our facility. We've partnered with Texas Native Health Clinic in Dallas to bring in services into our community. That's our contribution today as Native people to our city. We've been contributing from the very beginning to today. So I want to leave you with this. When we think about Native American people, the mistake that a lot of people make is that they think that we're all the same. And we're not. We have different customs, different rules, different laws, different cultures, traditions. We are not bound by any color. we come in all colors. So we have to remember that when we're experiencing relationships with our American Indian brothers and sisters. I was going to do a benediction as well, but I'm going to have to leave right after this. But I think that in lieu of these unprecedented times, I would say that the most important thing that we have to remember is to, I've been using this word a lot with our families and our employees, is that if there was ever a time for mercy and grace, it is now. If there's ever a time to lend our support and our help to continue to lift people up, it is now. And so I implore you to continue to do that, to continue to help one another, help each other, and as we move towards the hope that we all know is there, but we have to walk it together. So thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. Dana, thank you very much.
I think we all learned a lot. Let's remember. It is now time for our invitation to generosity. I want to thank the Stewardship Committee and Terry Palin for reminding us of the reasons we give. I invite the ushers to come forward now to receive the morning offering. Once again, we hear from the people of the Tap Pilam Coahuiltecan Nation and citizens of the Payaya clan. Thank you for your gifts. We bless these gifts and we bless the givers. May it be so. Please rise in body and spirit to sing our closing hymn, number 8, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit.
Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, where are you? In the sky song, in the forest sounds your cry. What to give you, what to call you, what am I? Many drops are in the ocean, deep and wide. Sunlight bounces off the ripples to the sky. What to give you, what to call you, who am I? I am empty, time flies from me, what is time? Streams eternal, fears infernal, haunt my heart. What to give you, what to call you, oh my God. Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, take our hearts, take our breath and let our voices sing our parts. Take our hands and let us work to shape our
Thank you for being here. Ramon had to leave before giving the benediction to attend to a family member. AITSCM, American Indians in Texas and Spanish Colonial Missions, has a wonderful website where we can keep informed about their calendar of activities and their needs. I invite you all to individually and us as a group to stay in touch, to know how we can support their efforts. AITSCM.org. Thank you. May it be so because we make it so, as Dr. XK always said.